Hello out there, everybody in LDA land. Welcome back. This is your favorite friend, Agent K. And I'm here to talk to you about my cost savings tips for cruising. So I have learned a lot of these tips from other YouTube bloggers and creators. And I have tried them myself. So I wanted to share them with you. So before we go into the tea, please like and subscribe because I do these videos. And I would love to hear your points on how you find these tips. So tip number one. My tip number one is that I don't wait till last minute cruising. And the reason why I don't wait for last minute cruising is because I, like any other girl, love a good sale. And if I see something for a good sale with enough time out for me to purchase, then I'm going to do it. Finding sales on cruises can be very easy, but it can be very time consuming. So if you have a really good travel agent, always accost that travel agent and tell them what you're looking for and what your budget is. If you are doing it on your own like I do, you look at the cruise line websites, you look at cruise liquidators, which usually is not going to give you a good price well in advance. And then what a lot of people don't realize, you can do wholesale clubs. So Costco and BJ's got a travel department and they do cruises. So that's something you can also look at. Airfare. That's another thing you have to look out for. If you are doing a cruise in another state, which the cheapest states to do a cruise is Florida. Hands down, Florida. Because they do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. New York, Baltimore are getting there, but it's still a little pricey because, especially in the winter months, the price might be a little bit lower, but it's still a little pricey to leave from the Northeast. So if you're looking at Florida, Alabama, South Carolina, Texas, Louisiana, those areas are moving more towards a year-round ports, and they can be very, very economical. For personal reasons, I would go to Florida rather than Texas to do a cruise. That's just me. But if you're cool with Texas, do Texas. Florida also got more ports than any other location in the South. So you got Port Everglades, you got Miami, you got Orlando. So those locations will give you more of an option of where you want to go and how you want to do it. Then you have reprice, reprice, reprice. Step number two. Once you make your reservation, and that's why another reason why I do it a year in advance, A, it gives me a goal of what I want to do, and B, it also gives me an opportunity to look for a lower price. Now, I know you heard me say I love a good sale, and I do, but I will put my money down on a cruise that is 2 years away and still reprice, reprice, reprice. Because you can work that X amount of cruise that you got on a sale and get that lowered to closer to $2,000 from its $4,000 if you pay attention to the prices. Now, if you have a travel agent, your travel agent should be on the ball with this, so you don't have to worry about that. If you go through BJ's or Costco, it's going to be even more difficult to reprice. But if you do it on your own through the website, all you got to do is go on there every 2-3 weeks just to see what the sale is and just reprice your cruise. How you do that though? You do it as if you're doing a brand new booking. You know what room you have. You know what stateroom you have. You know what floor you have. So what you do is you try to get as close as possible with those selections. And when you're on Royal, you can see it. I'm not quite sure about Carnival or any other cruise line. I know on Norwegian, I can never reprice because the price never went down. The price will always stay the same. Even though they say, oh, we have a new sale, 5 blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. The price never changes. So that's the difference between Norwegian and Royal that you should get off the bat right away. Look for sales for your excursions and your other packages. I call them enhancements, and your other enhancements. So your enhancements include the ultimate beverage package, the dining plan for the specialty restaurants, and your excursions. So you will look for those. Now, it used to be, I know when I was on, we used to go on Carnival many moons ago when I first started cruising, you could go on the ship and get a lower price on the excursions depending on your ship. But now, excuse me, but now the best way of doing it is pre-purchase everything. And Royal runs sales on their excursions. When I was booking trips, my cruises through Norwegian, there wasn't no sales on excursions. So sales on excursions and all your enhancements, look out for those and see if it meets your budget. Sometimes you can get an excursion that is 30 to 45% off. Sometimes you can get it 50% off. You can get 2-for-1 drink packages, 2-for-1 dining packages. You have to really look at that. And also with Reprice, depending on your cruise line, you can reprice up to a day before you leave on the cruise. So let's just say the price changed between you get on the boat and the day before. Even though you have paid it up, you can get an onboard credit. That's another thing you should look at. Always look at what the boat offers, the ship offers, versus what you have to pay for. So if you know you want to do the iFly or any kind of major thing, find out how much that costs and build that into your budget. Also, try to have a budget. Let's not go crazy, okay? Remember, there's going to be other opportunities to do cruises. There's going to be other opportunities to do a trip. So you don't have to purchase everything under the sun thinking that you're not going to do this again. If you like it, you're going to do it again and again and again. Trust me, I'm a lifer, it seems like, at this point. If you do solo cruising, it's a lot more work than... Let me take this back. It's a lot more work in the planning phase, but a lot more freedom at the end. And I'll tell you why. Because in the planning phase, you have to research what you want to do, how you want to do it, and when you want to do it. And then at the end, you just go ahead and do it. And if you choose not to do it, then don't do it. Have fun. With the COVID times, you know, excursions on shore, I'm a little leery about. I was leery about them before, but I'm really leery about them now. I only do excursions from the locals if I'm with a group. I don't go it by myself. Not anymore. The other thing about solo cruising is that the staff really looks out for you. You know, if they know you're by yourself, they go over and beyond to make sure that you having a good time. Not that I ever have a problem meeting people, but the staff has always been really awesome. Flights. I have learned that the closer you get to your time for you to fly, the more expensive the cruise is. More expensive the flight it's going to be. So try to purchase it ahead of advance. Sometimes some tricks that I do is that instead of booking a round trip right off the bat, I'll do 2 single one-way tickets and have that be my round trip. There used to be a day before the pandemic that it was like, I believe it was Tuesday evening or Tuesday afternoon into evening, where for that one period of time, the flights used to be cheaper. I haven't ran across that now. So I just keep looking and make sure that I just get the right price for the right time. That's one thing you can't reprice. Cruise insurance, travel insurance. Prior to this, prior to the pandemic, I wouldn't be a harper on that. I would be like, whatever, you got this. Now I'm like, make sure you have travel insurance. The good thing about Royal is that if you get sick with COVID, they have things already built into the fare that you can use. So if you get COVID on your ship, they're going to make sure that you get future cruise credit and get you accommodations. And if they need to fly you home, even on a private jet, they'll fly you home. I don't know many cruise lines that do that right now, but I get travel insurance anyway to cover all the other stuff that may happen. This last time I used Nationwide, I didn't know Nationwide had a cruise insurance. They do, and it was very well priced for my 11-night cruise, and it was perfect. Probably do Nationwide again, but I'm looking at doing a year because I have, if you looked at my last cruise, I have 3 cruises coming up. My last video, I had 3 cruises coming up, including one in Thanksgiving. So I'll probably go to Alliance and get the year cruise, the year travel insurance rather, which will be around about the cost of one cruise and one cruise travel insurance, and that will cover me for the Thanksgiving and the May, and then buy the one cruise insurance for the one in 2024. Another way of saving money for your next cruise deposits. So when you're on a cruise, there are 2 things you can do. And I'm finding this as my regular practice because I plan on cruising for a while longer. I purchase the next cruise deposit. So it usually runs like $200, $250, depending on how many people are in your room, what have you. It's $200 per person or $250 per person per stateroom. So if you have 2 people in the room, it's $400 to $500 for a deposit. So that means when you have a longer cruise like the one I'm taking in 2024, which is 13 nights, the cruise deposit for that was $450. But because I had already purchased the next cruise deposit for $200, I saved myself $250 in deposit money. And I will further make up the difference by repricing. On top of that, with Royal, if you have a new next cruise deposit, depending on your room, you also get onboard credit. So I'm presently have an ocean view room, not a balcony, ocean view room, and I have $100 onboard credit. So that's half a massage. I like half a massage. I can make up the other half. Let's see. And also, one of the greatest tips that I can give you, if you're traveling to another state, do not fly in the day of the cruise unless you got your cruise fare through the cruise line. Not your cruise fare, your airfare through the cruise line. If you do that, then fly in the same day. That's cool. But if you're not doing that, always fly in the day before, get you a hotel room, find a hotel that will provide you with transportation to the port to meet your cruise. Even if it's like $12, it's still a little bit better than rushing and trying to get to the ship if you did not arrange your airfare through the cruise line. In certain cases, arranging your airfare through the cruise line is your best bet. Like with my transatlantic, I'm leaning towards it, doing my cruise fare through the cruise line, because I'll be able to maneuver and say, blah, 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 this is why I'm doing this. There's a lot of more hoops for that one that I'm discovering, and I'm trying to see how it's all going to work out initially. And then when you're researching your room, make sure you look at cruise deck plans. Try not to book too close if you are sensitive to noise, too close to the theater or any of the nightclubs or the elevators if that bothers you, or the windjammer or the sports deck or anything like that. The Royal Up program for my February cruise did not work out for me. I had even up to the day before, I didn't get a response, and it still said it was pending. But mind you, there was only 1,855 people on my cruise, and my cruise held maybe 4,000 people. So there was plenty of rooms to upgrade people. They just didn't respond to people. And then, but otherwise, if you don't, speaking of staterooms, if you're relaxed and you're calm and you don't really matter, you can always get a guarantee room. If you do a guaranteed ocean view, you are ocean view balcony, I should say. You are guaranteed to get an ocean view balcony, better or suite. Ocean view would just be ocean view. Inside would be inside. They can be cheaper by a couple $100, or they can be more expensive by a couple $100. You have to look out for that as well. But those are my top tips that I have used. I am working on getting everything else together for my next adventure. So stay tuned. And if you like what you hear and you want to know more about my crazy life and all these lovely grays, look at that. That's horrible. I'm getting old, y'all. Please like and subscribe. Once again, this is LDA and your favorite friend, Agent K. Speak to you soon. Bye.